Welcome to Mount Vernon High School in Fortville, Indiana for NineStar Films presentation of high school basketball. Tonight, the 8-7 Marauders play host to the Frankton Eagles with a record of 15-2. And good evening to you. We're glad you've joined us on NineStar. Alongside Mike Petry, I'm Chris Lambert. Mike, for the Marauders tonight, it's going to be a pretty tough battle because these visitors are the defending 2A state champions. They defeated Crawford County 60-32 at Bankers Life Fieldhouse to cut down the nets, and they bring in a lot of youthful talent to tonight's game, looking to get a little closer to perhaps a repeat performance in downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah, absolutely. This Frankton team, this has been a bit of a mini dynasty for the Frankton Eagles because in 2015, 2A state runners-up. A couple of the seniors on this year's team were role players. They played some minutes on that team as freshmen, but this team is really led by their junior class. Landon Wines, a senior, Caden Key, a junior, and Rylan Detling, a junior, the three leading scorers. Caden Key averaging 20.2 points per game. He's just a dead-eye shooter, 25 of 83 from the three-point line, and an 83% free throw shooter.
Yeah, and also their top assist man at 3.9 assists per contest. The Marauders are going to have their hands full. But Travis Doherty's Marauders are ready to go, and we're ready to bring you the game as well. Max Buheen tips it up against Ryan Detling of Frankton, and Frankton will control the tip. And in visiting red, the Frankton Eagles will have first possession, moving left to right on your TV screen. Glad you joined us again here on NineStar Connect for tonight's game. Top of the key, Detling finds the cutting man. Landon Wines puts it up, gets it off the glass and goes, and Frankton scores first.
Just a fantastic back cut there by Wines. Lost his man out at the three-point line, cut back on him, and was able to get in.
There's Damari Gatewood from Mount Vernon driving the baseline. And he's going to turn it over on an offensive foul. So the first foul of the game goes against the homestanding Marauders.
And that's something that Gatewood's going to have to watch out for. Really, the Marauders don't go particularly deep. They're about 7 deep on their roster tonight. So Gatewood, the leading scorer on the roster, has to avoid foul trouble.
Good quick hands by Tyler Bostic in the lane to come up with the turnover, and Peyton Maters puts up the shot from long range. It does not go from the left side. Rebound comes down to Ryan Detling. Frankton on the move again. Here's Landon Waynes getting it down low to Caden Key. We talked about him. He goes high off the glass and scores for his first points of the night. He's also leading assist man for Frankton, just under 4 a game to go along with his 20-plus points a contest, and Frankton leads 4-0.
One thing I've liked what I've seen from Frankton so far, he and Wines both the top 3-point shooters on the team, but they've gotten their first baskets right at the basket.
Back the other way, Damari Gatewood catches and flies for his first basket of the night. A three-pointer gets the Marauders within 1. Frankton back in control in the offensive end. Tough shot in the lane. Not going to go for Ryan Detling. Well defended by Max Burheen from Mount Vernon. And the Marauders will take it coast to coast, but the hook shot won't go from Maters. Second attempt will draw a foul as Tyler Bostic came up with a rebound, and he'll earn himself a trip to the stripe.
Yeah, a good defensive stand there by Mount Vernon. They were able to turn that rebound into instant offense. Both these teams really like to get up and down the court, averaging about 60 to 65 possessions per game.
So Tyler Bostic to the stripe. See his numbers on the season from the foul line, a little better than half, so we'll look for the second one come as well. Rest of the Mount Vernon lineup, Cade Gentry is out there, and he's back with Damari Gatewood as you see Bostic getting ready for a second free throw. It is up, and it is no good. The rebound's fought for, hauled in, and put back by Peyton Maters, and he's on the board for the first time tonight. The Marauders take a 5-4 lead.
Yeah, that was really created by Max Burhen fighting for the rebound. He wasn't able to come down with it, but he tips it, ball hits the ground, and Maters was Johnny on the spot.
And quickly back the other way, Frankton answers with a catch-and-shoot 3 for Caden Key, who's got all 5 out of the 7 Frankton points, I should say. Back the other way, a long-range shot won't go for Tyler Bostic, and the rebound taken down by Brayton Kane for Frankton. He's got it behind the volleyball line. Gets it over to the left side. It's in the hands of Travis McGuire. Comes back to the top of the key to Rylan Detling. Detling gives to Key, who's driving into the lane. Bounce pass underneath to Brayton Kane. Couldn't hold on. Tried to save it, but kicks it back out to Mount Vernon. Tyler Bostic on the move, out for another three for Damari Gatewood, and that time he'll knock it down from the right side. He's got 2 3-pointers on the night. The Marauders reclaim the lead.
Yeah, just a great job in transition, finding that spot on the wing, and a great job by Bostic finding him.
Waynes up top the key once more. 8-7 Mount Vernon, 3 minutes into this contest here. And a loose ball knocked away and picked off. Kay Gentry comes up with the steal, feeds it up court. The circus shot is up and good, and Tyler Bostic is in the scorebooks tonight to give the Marauders a 3-point lead. Back the other way, catch and shoot 3 for Caden Key won't go. Ball is loose, and the Marauders have it again. Gentry runs it down. He pops, he knocks it down, and earns a trip to the stripe. Jets for a 3-point play. And we talked about Frankton before the game, getting about 10 steals per game, Mike Petry,
right.
But the Marauders are kind of playing that game right now.
Yeah, both teams really are active on the defensive end, and you have to be to, again, play at the pace that both these teams like to play at. They like to force those turnovers, but coming into the game, it was actually Frankton that had been doing a better job of taking care of the ball. They turned the ball over less than 20% of their possessions, which really for any high school is very good. When you're playing as fast as Frankton likes to play, that's exceptionally good.
13-7 after the 3-point play for Cade Gentry. And driving down the left side block, strong to the basket. Count that one for Landon Waynes, and he'll have a shot at a 3-point play. Good explosive move for Landon, Mike.
Yeah, Wines did a great job there. Frankton has done a pretty decent job in their half-court set. What Mount Vernon is doing defensively, though, is they're forcing Frankton to work for every shot that they get, whereas Mount Vernon's able to turn turnovers and rebounds into instant offense.
First free throw of the game for the Frankton Eagles is up and good. The 3-point play trade either side, and the lead for Mount Vernon is back down to 4. Substitution for the Marauders, Brandon Bell checks into the contest, replacing Max Burhane. Bell, a sophomore for this Marauder squad, as Bostic brings it across the timeline. Gives over to Cade Gentry. Fakes the 3, gives to Maters, drives in the paint in traffic, gets his own rebound, knocked out of bounds, and it'll stay with Mount Vernon.
Yeah, Maters did about everything right, including following his own shot, but the problem was once he came down with the rebound, he put the ball on the deck, and that's just inviting trouble.
Inbounds to Gentry. Gives over to Maters, and now Bostic. He's going to drive. Out it comes. Long 2 from the right side. Doesn't go for Mount Vernon. Down low, the rebound stolen away by Frankton. And on the run, here comes Landon Waynes. Lays it up and in. And on the fast break, Landon Waynes now with 7 points and brings Frankton within 1.
Yeah, Waynes did a great job of leading the break there, and his teammate finding him without having to break stride.
3-point try from the right side won't go for Damari Gatewood. Frankton rebound comes down to Brayton Kane, and as he drives, we have a whistle and a foul away from the action. So back and forth we go here as Tyler Bostic of Mount Vernon is going to be charged with his first foul of the night.
Right, trying to get back in transition after the missed shot. He just wasn't really able to get himself in position.
Inbounds comes to Caden Key, and there's a foul, and once again that's going to go against Mount Vernon.
I believe that's going to be on Brandon Bell.
Yep.
Just reaching in. Got a little too aggressive with the hands, trying to strip Key as Key was going up for a shot.
Key to the stripe, knocks down the first free throw. He said he averages 20.2 points per game, and he's got 6 for the Frankton Eagles. As we mentioned, the state champs last year in Class 2A, the runners-up in 2015. They lost here in this matchup last season, 57-53, one of the few losses they had on a very successful season for Brent Bromston's team. He knocks them both down, and Frankton reclaims the lead by 1. Mount Vernon with it. Cade Gentry, top of the key, to the left hand, back to the basket, and kicks it out. It's in the hands of Brandon Bell. Bell working around the arc a little bit more. Gatewood fires to Gentry, who has to jump high to haul that one, and he's guarded by Key. And all alone underneath the basket. Nice cut for Keith Rupert, who just checked into the contest. He was open for his first basket.
And Marauders doing a good job of sharing the basketball. They've been getting plenty of assists going so far tonight.
And a 3-point shot for Landon Waynes, top left corner. He now has 10 points for Frankton tonight, 10 of their 17. And a quick timeout is on the floor. 3 minutes, 8 seconds to play in this first quarter, and a back and forth contest indeed. Frankton leading Mount Vernon 17-15.
Well, Frankton's coming as advertised. Their 17 points have come from 2 scorers. Landon Waynes has 10 and Caden Key has 7. So if you're Mount Vernon, easier said than done, but if you can focus defensive energy and get one of those two shut down, we'll see if, especially as we're this deep into the first quarter, it may be difficult for other players to pick up the slack if you're able to shut down one option.
10th year for head coach Brent Bronston at Frankton, 151 wins, 87 losses. Of course, the head coach from Mount Vernon, Travis Doherty, in his 5th year here, 62-44. He's also coached at Tipton and Chittard. He's got a 14-year career of 180 and 129. Out of the timeout, Mount Vernon has it. Damari Gatewood swerves in from the right side and lays it up off the glass. He's got 8 points.
Just a spectacular drive there by Gatewood, using his offensive player and then using the defenders against themselves.
Tie ball game once again, 2:42 to play. Travis McGuire has it on the right side for Frankton. Up top it comes to John Hatzel. A couple of new faces in for Frankton out of the timeout, but Caden Key, the same old face, goes strong to the basket and lays it off the glass and in. He's got 9. 19-17, Frankton takes the lead once more. Here's Jake Morris for Mount Vernon, and a knockaway back, and Caden Key comes up with it again and earns himself a trip to the stripe.
Just a great job by Key on the defensive effort there. First of all, interrupting the pass. He just kind of, excuse me, and walks off with it. But then he stays with the dribble, even as he had 2 Marauders poking the ball away. He stayed with it and was able to get to the line.
Kate Gentry with the foul for Mount Vernon. 5 fouls on the Marauders thus far, just 2 on the Frankton Eagles. Another one coming for Caden Key. He's looking for double figures already, and he's got it alongside his teammate Landon Wines. 10 apiece, and they lead at 20-17. Mount Vernon back into the front court. Morris on the left side. Down in the corner it comes. Intended for Damari Gatewood. Could not hold on, and a turnover gives it to Frankton.
Hate to see that if you're the Marauders. Just an empty possession, an easy pass. Morris threw it over to Gatewood, and Gatewood not able to handle it.
Ethan Bates will bring it across the timeline. New face in for Frankton, guarded by Keith Rupert. Comes over to the left side to Waynes. He brings it to the top of the key, drives down that right side block again and lays it off the glass and scores. 5th field goal of this quarter for Landon Waynes. He's got 12, and the Frankton lead is 5. Here's Morris with it for Mount Vernon. Out to Cade Gentry. 3-point try is up and good. And Cade Gentry doubles his output. 6 points on the night, makes it a 2-point game again.
Marauders have hit 4 3-pointers in this first quarter. That's what they're going to have to do. They shoot a lot of 3-pointers coming into the game. About 55% of their shots have been from the 3-point line, but they're not necessarily all that accurate every time. So
Waynes misses the 3-point try, spins out of there. The rebound fought for underneath by Rylan Detling. Whistle as it goes out of bounds. And the foul will be committed by Mount Vernon's Brandon Bell, I do believe they got. And if that's the case, that's his second. 30-second timeout on the floor. 1 minute, 22 seconds to play in a fast-moving and very entertaining first quarter of this contest. Frankton holding on to a 22-20 victory lead.
Getting back to the Mount Vernon offensive strategy, they tend to get their threes. They make up for that 3-point line in volume by the fact that they've got basically everybody that is in their rotation has about 40 to 50 3-point attempts so far on the season. So they can spread it throughout the roster. Everybody can shoot. And conversely, everybody is also then responsible for picking up offensive rebounds and other opportunities. But with that, the easiest way, of course, to score off the 3-point line is when you actually just make it on the first go. And they've made 4 so far tonight, 2 from Gatewood and 2 from Gentry.
Got to look at Marauders coach Travis Doherty there in the timeout, as trying to set the plan in motion to climb out of this deficit, which right now is just 2 points. But free throws coming for Rylan Detling, and he knocks the first one down. He's the 3rd double-figure scorer for this Frankton squad on the season, averaging 12.2 points and 6 rebounds per game. Detling makes them both here. Frankton as a team now 6 of 7 from the foul line, and they have a 4-point lead. Across the timeline from Mount Vernon, Keith Rupert gets it over to Morris. A couple steps behind the arc, over to the left side now to Brandon Bell, who picked up his 2nd foul indeed before the timeout. There's a shot from the left side. The jumper is up and good for Keith Rupert. Second shot of the night for him. And back to a 2-point contest with a minute to play in the opening quarter. Here comes Caden Key. Lost the handle, got a little too ahead of himself there. Cade Gentry comes up with a steal. He'll lay it up and miss it, and the rebound comes down for John Hatzel, who stayed with him. Hatzel feeds to Kane. Across the timeline to Detling. Detling puts it up with a right hand and scores with a scoop shot in traffic.
Nice job by Detling getting that scoop shot up. It was just delicately placed as he brought the ball to his midsection, and Jake Morris almost able to block it coming from the help side.
30 seconds to play as it comes to Damari Gatewood on the left side. Gatewood guarded by Kane. They'll kick it out a little farther into the hands of Tyler Bostic, and Mount Vernon will go ahead and set up for the final play. The lead's been changed several times. We've had a couple of ties as well. Back and forth action between 4A Mount Vernon and the defending 2A state champion Frankton Eagles. And with 8 seconds, Rupert will put things into motion for Mount Vernon. He'll dump it out to the left side. He's called for the offensive foul. As a good job of Ethan Bates. He saw it coming and he got position in the paint.
Right. Rupert got down so deep, but was not really, he's not a threat necessarily to score in that situation, but he got himself deep. He was trying to draw the defense in, but Frankton able to really just defend him one-on-one.
That's a 7th team foul for Mount Vernon. They'll have Frankton in the bonus all the way in the second quarter as the 3-point heave from half court will not go for Brayton Kane. So we played 8 minutes of basketball here at Mount Vernon, and if you've kept up, good job. We're back and forth here, and the Frankton Eagles lead the Mount Vernon Marauders 26-22. We're back in a moment. You're watching high school basketball from NineStar Films.
Hello?
Mulder, where have you been?
Was out squatching.
I've stumbled on the conspiracy to end all conspiracies.
It's a little late for that. This is evidence of a parallel universe.
Wait, what?
They know that I know.
The truth lies in the X-Files.
The X-Files, Wednesdays on Fox.
Back at Mount Vernon High School alongside Mike Petry, Chris Lambert with you. 1 quarter in the books tonight, and the Frankton Eagles lead 26-22 over the Mount Vernon Marauders. Taking a look at the Hoosier Heritage Conference standings. Mount Vernon coming off a win over Delta last weekend to get to 2-3 in conference. Of course, everybody's looking up at Newcastle, 16-1 as they just dropped a loss to Carmel here recently, ending their perfect season, but still a very formidable task to get up there in the rarefied air where Newcastle and Shelbyville are.
Right, and Mount Vernon throughout this season really has just not been able to get any traction. They've not really able to do a whole lot more than just tread water. Every time they'd win 1 or 2 in a row, they lose 1 or 2 in a row. They haven't gone on any long losing streaks, but haven't been able to get a big winning streak going either. A
short losing streak of 3 was snapped with that Delta loss as the shot is up and no good for Cade Gentry at the top of the key. It's out of bounds and Mount Vernon will keep it. 2 of those losses were in overtime against Hamilton Southeastern and Connorsville. This is a Mount Vernon team that's played a lot of overtimes this year, including a game we had for you here on NineStar when they beat Greenfield Central in 4 overtimes, 96-91. Knock away from Damari Gatewood, coming up with a steal, and getting blocked at the other end was Landon Waynes. Gatewood stayed with him and broke that up. Back the other way comes Mount Vernon. Morris kicks it out to Rupert. 3-pointer won't go. Loose ball being fought for. It'll stay on the Mount Vernon side. Good heads-up play for Damari Gatewood after his busted play to get back and swipe that dunk off the boards.
Yeah, just a fantastic job by Gatewood getting back. He not only able to block the shot, but he blocked it so hard off the backboard, it actually ended up going right to his teammate.
There's Gatewood with it again, top of the key. Kicks over to the left side to a driving Jake Morris. And we have a foul on the floor against the Frankton Eagles. Landon Waynes went flying. He thought he had position, but he's got the first foul of the night.
And, yeah, you see him just leaning a little bit there. There have been 3 times in the first half so far where Mount Vernon player has collided. It could be a charge or a block. And quite honestly, I thought that was the most charge-like of the 3. It was the one time the call went against Frankton.
And an interesting call there as Landon Waynes picks up his second foul immediately, fouling on the inbound, kind of throwing himself into Max Burrahan at the top of the key.
Right, just a little bit reckless play on the inbound.
What a
Fantastic
great
block.
defensive effort. Damari Gatewood has some incredible speed. He kept up with it and got that off the backboard. Mount Vernon with it. Jake Morris, top of the key. Now Cade Gentry has it. Gives it back to Morris. He's at the foul line, extended. Dumps it to the right side to Rupert. To Morris once again, double teamed. As a screen helps Rupert get open, but the shot won't go. Rebound taken down by Burheen underneath. Kicks it out to Rupert. Fall-away jumper is good, and Keith Rupert has 6 points on the night.
Yeah, great job by Burheen. He's been a force on the offensive glass. That's the first rebound I think he's gotten his hands on. But he's been a trouble for Frankton as he's been creating offensive rebounding opportunities.
Visiting Eagles lead is down to 2. Hatzel, top of the key, over to Caden Key. Down to the left side, Brayton Kane drives and kicks it out for a jumper for Rylan Detling. Detling was a little slow getting on the scorebooks, but now he's got 6 points, and the ball is loose in Mount Vernon's front court. It's going to stay here as the last guy got a touch on it was Detling.
Well, if nothing else, Frankton is making it easier on the scorekeepers as only 3 players so far have scored. It was all Waynes and Caden Key early on, and then Detling has gotten his 6 points probably. He may have 6 of the last 8 points for Frankton, I believe.
Bostic will inbound, gets it into Cade Gentry, puts up the shot in traffic, can't get it to go, but earns himself a trip to the foul line.
Yeah, a good play on the inbounds there as they were able to run a couple of guys off, and Detling had no choice but to foul Gentry there.
5th foul of the game for Frankton, and the first on Brayton Kane. This will send Cade Gentry back to the foul line. He had a 3-point play in the first quarter, 6 points so far on the night. And the first one will not go here. Another one coming for the 6'1 junior as Frankton will bring in some height off the bench. Will Watley checking into the contest. Tallest player at 6'6". Gentry's second look, that's up and good. And it's a 3-point deficit now for Mount Vernon. Frankton across the timeline again. Kane gets around Gatewood and dumps it over to the left side to Travis McGuire. He's double teamed, in a bit of trouble, but clears it away. Detling down in the corner, Watley, and out to Kane, who bobbles the handle but saves it. Drives, kicks it out. Caden Key will go baseline, gets around his man, rattles it home, and he's got 12 points on the night. 30-25.
Was looking for some defensive help on the baseline, but he's just got to do a better job of sealing off that baseline. Can't let a guy slide past you there.
Out to the left side to Gentry. Drives, loses the handle. Frankton comes up with another steal. Lobbing it ahead to Travis McGuire for the lay-in and his first basket of the night. So now 4 Frankton players in the scorebooks as the Eagles extend their lead to 7. Back the other way. Quick jumper from inside the arc for Rupert. No good, and the rebound takes a Frankton bounce. McGuire will bring it and give it back to Kane, who just crosses the timeline. Bit of a run going for Frankton here. Must be time for Mount Vernon to have their heads up as McGuire has it top of the key. Gets it down to Detling. Inside, easy layup for Will Watley. And Travis Doherty is going to go ahead and take a timeout as this Frankton run. 8-3 is the advantage in the second quarter, and they've extended their lead to 34-25.
Yeah, a good timeout there by Coach Doherty. Has just a couple of empty possessions in a row for the Marauders, and really what you see with this Frankton team, they are so just deadly efficient that you give up any empty possessions on your offensive end. They're making you pay on the defensive end. Just very difficult to guard.
They're just so quick, and it's although Damari Gatewood did a good job sticking with his man speed-wise, the rest of the Marauders have maybe a bit of work to do to match the energy and efficiency we're seeing of Frankton at the moment.
What you noticed on the last fast break by the Eagles, McGuire was very cognizant of Gatewood coming down on the break and was able to shield the ball away from him as he went up to the layup. We see the Central Indiana Conference and the Frankton Eagles at 5-0, 15-2, and I believe their win over Oak Hill. So handing the Golden Eagles their only loss of this season so far in conference play.
Very solid season thus far, 15-2 overall, and with a 9-point lead out of the timeouts here. Mount Vernon will fire a three-pointer. Peyton Maters missed that. Got his own rebound in the paint, however, and earns himself a trip to the foul line. Good follow.
Yeah.
And
that's the second time that Maters has been able to follow his miss. He hasn't cashed in on it yet, but he's getting some offensive rebound opportunities, realizing he's short before anybody else does.
Maters with the first free throw. The foul is on Brayton Kane, and they're showing that it's his first. I had two, but clearly I was wrong. The second one's good from the line for Peyton Maters as well. Cuts it down to a 7-point deficit, and some substitutions for Travis Doherty and the Marauders, as we'll see Brandon Bell back into the game, also Joe Miles.
One thing that I think will be interesting for Coach Brobston Frankton is Landon Wines went out in the really early on in the second quarter with 2 fouls. They've extended the lead, but it'll be interesting to see if he stays out the whole second quarter or if and when they decide to bring him back in.
McGuire's got it top of the key for Frankton, gives it to Kane, who drives baseline on the right side, weaves his way around, right back to McGuire it goes. Now they'll try it with Caden Key. Well defended. The pass for Watley slips out of his hands, and behind him, Peyton Maters comes up with a steal for Mount Vernon. He takes it into front court, kicks it out in the corner. Brandon Bell wants 3, and he'll get it. First basket of the night, deep in the right corner for Brandon Bell, and it's a 4-point game.
Yeah, when you're defending the Marauders, the goal number 1, you've got to stay on that 3-point line. Somebody in pretty much every offensive set is spotting up looking for a 3.
Key with it for Frankton as Mount Vernon has run off 5 straight points, but we have a whistle and a foul away from the ball. It's going to be a foul on the Marauders, namely on Tyler Bostic, who picks up his second.
Yeah, and a little bit of frustration there from Brayton Kane. A little shove back. He was very lucky that he did not get, at the very least, a foul called on him. Could very easily have gotten a technical called on him because he shoved and got his hands up in Bostic's face.
Hatzel comes in for Watley as Brayton Kane gets ready to shoot free throws for Frankton. 55% on the season and misses the front end of the bonus. Mount Vernon has the rebound. Maters brings it into front court. Over to Gentry at the top of the key. Gentry to his left to Bell now. And to the top of the key, here's Maters. In the lane, floater won't go. Still fighting for the rebound, but knocks into the hands of McGuire. Here comes Frankton. Ahead to Caden Key. Gets around his man. Missed that shot. Both teams a little haphazard right now. But ahead to Peyton Maters. He'll get that one to go with a strong lay-in as he got ahead of the defense there. 6 points for Maters, and it's a 2-point contest.
Great look by Bostic on the defensive rebound. Probably the shortest player on the court able to get a defensive rebound and automatically has his head up looking for Maters streaking down the court.
Here's Detling, top of the key, over to Caden Key. 3-pointer won't go, and the rebound lost. Boy, Peyton Maters had it, but couldn't hold on, so the chance to tie the ball game will have to wait as it's going to stay on this end of the court.
Yeah, Maters, I think, just got a little too excited. He was open under the basket on the defensive rebound, really not even contested. He just a little too aggressively slapped it into his left hand.
Bates up to half court to Travis McGuire. Had to jump really high to haul that one in, but he saves it. Back to Bates underneath. Count it, and a free throw coming. Ethan Bates a chance for a 3-point play. And a good quick move from a nice play from the inbounds, kicking out to McGuire and back down to Bates. Good spin move from McGuire to find his man too, Mike.
Something to watch there. That's the 3rd foul on Bostic. So far has not come out of the game. So we'll see how long Coach Travis Doherty stays with him.
Free throw won't go, but the shot stops the 7-up Mount Vernon run, and it's a 4-point lead for Frankton again. Tyler Bostic directing traffic with those 3 fouls. Over to Maters, and now to the top of the key. 3-point try is up, and it'll rattle home for Brandon Bell, his second triple of the night. He's got 6 points.
It's a big basket for Brandon Bell, able to make the opposing defense respect his outside game.
But back the other way, good spin move, and the shot from the left side for Rylan Detling gets it back to a 3-point contest, 38-35 Frankton. Top of the key for Mount Vernon. was Brandon Bell. Gives it over to Maters. Back to Bell. He'll try another three. Can't get it to go. A rebound hauled down by Frankton's Travis McGuire. He's in front court. 3-point lead for Frankton. Over to the left side. Hatzel wants a triple, and he's got it. Catch and shoot from the left corner for the previously offensively quiet John Hatzel. Makes it a 6-point game again for Frankton.
It's been the supporting cast making hay for the Frankton Eagles today in the second quarter after that first quarter where it was their 3 leading scorers getting all the points. Second quarter, it's been all the supporting cast.
And Jake Morris with a 3-pointer. Gets it back down to 3 for Mount Vernon. That's his first points of the night as well. 41-38, a minute 30 to play. 9-point lead was taken down to 2. Now it's at 3 again after it had grown to 6. It's a game of runs as Ryland Detling drives, and a foul will be called on the Marauders as he goes down.
Yeah, the Marauders complaining, but really, as much as anything, that was being in the bad defensive position, and then even though it wasn't probably enough contact for a foul, he falls to the ground. They're going to call you for it, mainly because you were a little out of position when he fell.
First foul on Jake Morris, the 10th Mount Vernon foul, so Frankton in the double bonus now as Ryland Detling misses the first free throw.
And we see Jake Morris getting that explanation from the official, listening politely.
Some substitutions for Mount Vernon. Gatewood and Maters out there along with Keith Rupert, Cade Gentry, and Jake Morris. Ryland Detling's second free throw for Frankton is good. He's got 9 points. He's 3 of 4 from the foul line.
One really good sign for the Marauders. They were able to make that mini run getting back into this game after they'd gone down by 7 without Gatewood.
Here's Gentry driving in strong to the basket. Can't get it to go, but free throws will be coming. It's going to be on Ethan Bates picking up his first. And free throws coming now for Cade Gentry, who is 2 of 3 from the foul line tonight. Team shoots 75% from the foul line on the season. And one more will be coming for Gentry. Shots up and good as well. And a 2-point contest with 1:11 to play in this first half. Glad you're watching on NineStar Films. It's been a good one so far. McGuire with it for Frankton. Back to the basket, double team. Feeds it over to Detling. Back out it comes quickly. And they'll work it out to the far corner to Ethan Bates. Behind the volleyball line, now drives as he picks up the double team. Out on the arc, Key gives it quickly to Detling, and over to the left side, McGuire looks in. Good ball movement as the lane is clogged by the Marauder defense at the moment, pushing them back out on the arc. Key finds a shot from outside, though, and leaves it short. Rebound hauled down by Jake Morris, and a whistle and a foul with 34 seconds to play in the half will give Mount Vernon a chance to tie it from the line.
For whatever reason, Caden Key did not look particularly comfortable taking that three-point shot. Sort of went up with it on the premise that he was supposed to at that point, but it really didn't seem like that was the shot he necessarily wanted.
Just following the script, so to speak.
Exactly. Well, and a lot of it has to do with the Marauders' defense. They're doing a great job of keeping the ball out of the area inside the three-point line. It's just tough sledding getting anything in there.
First free throw rattles home for Jake Morris. The foul was number 2 on Travis McGuire for Frankton, 8th team foul. The Marauders have long ago put Frankton into the double bonus as the second free throw is a bit strong. And the rebound taken down by Detling. Here comes Frankton, 30 seconds on the clock, going all the way in and drawing a quick foul is Brayton Kane. Had himself a nice path to the basket, disrupted just at the last moment.
Right, Kane just a good acceleration as he had one man trying to pick him up at about the three-point line and just blew right past him. I believe that was Keith Rupert that he blew past initially.
Foul is called on Damari Gatewood, his second. Kane's second free throw is up, and that's no good.
Yeah, I'm trusting you over the official score here. They're saying that was his first, but I distinctly remember 2 on Gatewood. The first one being an offensive foul, I think, on the first offensive possession.
I think you're right. And not just because you're agreeing with me. 43-41, Frankton leads by 2. Mount Vernon holding for the final look of this first half as Damari Gatewood has it on the left side. Tries to work his way around Detling, loses the handle. Frankton comes up with it. So with 2 seconds on the clock, 1, and a hook shot at the buzzer. Are they going to wave it off?
No,
or they're going to count it?
I thought that came late.
Caden Key uses every 10th of a second available to him. A perfect play off the steal for the Frankton Eagles with about 3 seconds to go. Here's the pass. Underneath, hook shot around Morris, up and in. What an exclamation point for the half Caden Key has played in this contest with 14 points to lead the Frankton Eagles.
Right, the Eagles getting majority of their points from, again, their 3 leading scorers, but in the second quarter, the Marauders did a good job of shutting those 3 down. A lot of that was due to Landon Waynes picking up 2 fouls inside of about 30 seconds, but really you've seen a very concerted team effort from this Mount Vernon Marauders squad. A lot of different guys making shots for Mount Vernon. But for Frankton, it really is Caden Key and then everything keying off of that.
Key with 14 and Waynes with 12. Mount Vernon led by Kay Gentry with 9. But the Frankton Eagles lead at the half over the Marauders, 45-41. We're coming back with second half action. You're watching high school basketball from NineStar Films.
Sunshine, make me wanna say, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la, make me wanna say, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la, make me wanna say, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
And we welcome you back into Mount Vernon High School. Literally, welcome back inside. It's cold out there.
That's right.
Get ready for some basketball here. Second half is coming up as the Marauders are trailing the defending 2A state champion Frankton Eagles 45-41. Alongside Mike Petry, Chris Lambert with you. Got John Painter, Bill McKenna, and the entire NineStar crew bringing you a great battle tonight. And Mike, Frankton's been strong to the basket throughout the evening, but Mount Vernon hanging around with the benefit of some great three-point shooting. They've knocked down 6 from outside the arc in this one.
That's been a big key for Mount Vernon, making just enough shots to stay into this one. We've talked a little bit about the pace these two teams really like to play at. A little bit different for Mount Vernon tonight because they beat Delta 41-35, so they scored 41 points in the whole game against Delta in a much slower paced action. Tonight they've got 41 points at halftime.
That's a team that can adapt, and it's always nice to have that ability. You're seeing some of the highlights of the first half. We're seeing strong moves from Rylan Detling there. One of the 3 big scorers for Frankton coming into tonight's game alongside Caden Key and Landon Waynes, and they are the 3 leading scorers in this one, accounting for 35 of Frankton's 45 points. But back the other way, good balanced scoring up and down the score sheet for the Mount Vernon Marauders as they have 7 players who have contributed offensively thus far, including this strong layup to the basket from Peyton Maters, part of his 6-point night. Kay Gentry leads the way with 9.
And that's really a lot of what you would expect. You've got Gentry, Gatewood, Rupert, and Maters all right around 8 to 10 to 12 points per game. And so you expect them to have a pretty balanced effort. One thing that we haven't really seen from Frankton a whole lot this season is playing in close games. I was just running through their schedule. They've only had 2 games where that have been decided by 5 points or less. 1-1 in those games. They beat Tipton 51-49 and lost to Pendleton Heights by 4.
And out of the near turnover by Braden Kane, a miss from long range in the left corner for Brandon Waynes, and Mount Vernon comes up with it. They're in home whites, moving from left to right, and moving quickly is Peyton Maters, who lays it up for his first score of the second half. Makes it a 2-point game, and a bad pass comes up with a Mount Vernon steal, kicked out of bounds. It's going to stay on this side of the floor.
Little aggressive there from Bostic, trying to lead Maters on the break, but really didn't have an angle. That wasn't going to stop him. He did everything he possibly could to get that ball out in front of the break.
Bostic will inbound as Mount Vernon looks for the tie. Damari Gatewood cuts. He has it on the right side. Drives baseline. Hands it off to Max Burheen. Kicks it out. Three-point shot up and no good for Cade Gentry. Bounced around for a while, but the rebound comes down to Travis McGuire for the visiting Frankton Eagles. He gets past a double team. Hands it off to Caden Key, Frankton's leading scorer. Kicks it out to Kane. Three-point try is off the mark, and the rebound scooped in by Maters. Mount Vernon with another chance to tie coming up. Damari Gatewood takes it into the paint, kicks it to the corner. Bostic for a long one, knocks it down. Three-point shot for Tyler Bostic. He's got 5, and the Marauders lead at 46-45.
One thing that'll be interesting for the Frankton Eagles here is Landon Wines sat out almost the entire second quarter. He picked up 2 fouls inside of about a minute of each other, and see how long it takes for him to get his offensive game back in gear. Hasn't really been involved in the first few possessions here for the Eagles.
And Bostic just picked up his 4th foul on that drive to the basket from Brayton Kane.
And that will get Keith Rupert off the bench pretty quickly for the Marauders.
First free throw is a miss, so that's going to be a long timeout for Tyler Bostic now. Just a minute 24 in this third quarter, picking up that 4th foul.
This has been a pretty active battle between Kane and Bostic so far tonight. Kind of getting in each other's grill a little bit.
Kane hits his first free throw out of 5 tries on the night, but it ties up the game at 46. Gentry with it for Mount Vernon, gets over to Maters. He'll pop a long one from the right side, and he'll knock it down.
Maters is excited. He was having trouble getting the range early on in the first half, but seems to have found it here in the second.
48-46, Marauders go back up the long 2 by Maters. Kane has it behind the volleyball line for the Frankton Eagles in red. To the left blocks. It's a nice pass to a cutting Caden Key, and he's fouled on his way to the basket.
I'm not sure if they called a foul. They just called it out of bounds. Yeah.
Looked like some contact from our vantage point, but we're far away, and our eyes are failing. Out it comes to Detling. Up top now to Key. Back to the left corner. Waynes double teamed. Scoops it around the right side. Open for 3 is Travis McGuire. A bit long, and the rebound comes to Cade Gentry. Had to fight to hold on to it as to battle Ethan Baines, but then Mount Vernon turns it over and back the other way. A layup and a foul. Good for Caden Key. He's got 16 and a chance for more.
Fantastic defensive play there by Weens. Was able to grab the ball and scoop it behind his back to his teammate, which led to an assist. So he gets a hockey assist on that one. And then on the offensive end, it's a foul on Key, really not what you wanted to see from Mount Vernon's side. If you're going to foul there, you've got to foul and make sure he doesn't get the layup up.
Missed the free throw, did Key, so we're still tied at 48 as Mount Vernon brings it across. Keith Rupert sets it up over to the left side to Maters. Maters back to Rupert. He'll pop 2 from the right side, and he'll knock it down. Keith Rupert with 8 points on the night. And Mount Vernon reclaims the lead once more.
Marauders really seeming to have some bounce in their step on these jump shots. Seem to have found the range. Just a little more confidence every time they're going up.
3-point try is no good for Landon Waynes. The ball volleyed around, and Keith Rupert comes up with it. Brings it into front court. Down in the corner, Maters tried to hold on, but stepped on the baseline as that pass was a little too tall for him.
Yeah, they're going to rule he was on the baseline before he jumped up to capture that one, I believe.
So the inbounds will come Frankton's way, and they'll bring it the length of the floor. Brayton Kane, Travis McGuire coming across. Wayne's Key and Detling up front waiting for them. And here's a cutting Detling. Couldn't hold on to that pass, and it goes Mount Vernon's way.
The Marauders' defensive effort has been really pretty impressive on this big 3 from Frankton. You've seen some of the Eagles players, they were able to keep up the scoring for Frankton in the second quarter, but a pretty good effort in terms of keeping the big 3 guys off the board from the second quarter on.
Maters couldn't score. Back the other way. Brayton Kane goes strong to the basket, takes a tumble, gets back up, but back the other way. Layup and the foul good for Damari Gatewood as he breaks the length of the floor.
And Kane went hard into the bleachers there, but looks like he's okay. He's feeling the back of his head. I think that's going to be a bump that will last for a couple of days on the back of the head there.
Yeah, it's always gives you pause when you can hear the contact
Right.
over there, but still
Those bleachers sound worse than they are, I think.
Free throw goes for Damari Gatewood. He's got 11 points.
Though admittedly, that's easier for me to say.
I can verify that there isn't a NineStar microphone underneath them. That is natural sound. 53-48, Mount Vernon leads by 5. They trailed by 9 late in the second quarter. Kane with it on the right side, top of the key to Waynes. Driving the left blocks, puts up a wild shot. Can't get it to go, but he's fouled, and free throws will be coming.
Yeah, Waynes does such a good job of just bullying his way into the lane and getting himself into a position where even amongst the trees, he's able to create some space for himself to shoot.
Second foul, I should say, for Max Bergeen. The first free throw for Landon Waynes does not go. They'll bring John Hatzel back in, will the Frankton Eagles, and Travis McGuire will take a seat. Kane stays in after taking that bump to the noggin. Second free throw does not go either. Frankton is 1 of 5 from the foul line in this third quarter, and they trail it by 5. Rupert, top of the key from Mount Vernon, gets it over to Maters on the left side. Gatewood cuts, but instead it comes to Rupert again. Kane with a handout on defense and a pass not held on to by Kay Gentry. The ball is loose. Mount Vernon comes up with it again. Maters saves it and keeps the possession alive. Three-point try from the right side is up and good for Keith Rupert, his first triple of the night. And Mount Vernon has knocked down now 7 three-pointers on the evening. They lead it by 8, and Frankton's going to take a timeout.
And if I'm counting right, that's 5 different Marauders that have made three-pointers. As we said, they are not bashful. They take a lot of three-point opportunities, and a lot of different guys are going to be shooting from behind the arc all night. But just a great job there in terms of creating offense from a loose ball.
As we said, about 34% on the season, but finding their range tonight. Make sure you join us Friday, February 7th here on NineStar Films Channel 9. Our next game will be the Newcastle Trojans taking on the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Mike Petry, the guy sitting next to me, and Gavin Haynes will be bringing you all the action of that one. That should be a very entertaining contest.
Absolutely. A first chance that I've had to see Newcastle this season. I know the success that they've had, and Hamilton Southeastern, really an honorary member of the HHC. They've played a lot of the bigger schools, including Mount Vernon, of the HHC. So we know what they can do. We've seen them a number of times over the years.
And a legitimate member of the HHC back in the day as well. Just up the Oleo Road, not too far from here in Mount Vernon. So looking forward to that one as the Royals and the Trojans will battle. And you can keep up with our schedule all year long by following us on Twitter at NineStar Connect. You can also like us on Facebook, and we hope you will. Out of the timeout, Frankton will bring it across. They'll trail Mount Vernon by 8. Caden Key has it, top of the key, over to Ryan Detling now. Detling over to the left side, John Hatzel. And Mount Vernon doing a good job pushing them back behind the arc. Now Kane finds an opening, kicks it out, and they'll work it back up top, the triangle to Detling again. Mount Vernon defense still doing its job here as the clock continues to run. 3:13 to play in this third quarter, and an 8-point lead for Mount Vernon. A big turnaround from that second quarter, and backing out once again, it's Caden Key. Comes to Kane on the left side. He's guarded by Keith Rupert. Now an opening. They'll pop from long range, and Ryan Detling will miss from long range, and the rebound is taken down by Kay Gentry. Mount Vernon with a chance to go up double figures.
And that's another great defensive possession by Mount Vernon, really just continuing to make Frankton work and work and work, and kind of end up taking a three-point shot because, well, they haven't been able to get anything better.
Good hands on defense, though. They get another look. Hatzel with it down the right blocks, puts up the shot, swatted from behind, deflected by Maters, and he's got it. Marauders on the run. Maters, bounce pass to the left side, up and good. Kay Gentry into double figures, and so is the Mount Vernon lead. Here's a quick lob, and that's stolen away. The Marauders come up with it again. Here's Gentry going all the way, leaves it a little too short. Picking up the loose ball and scoring is Max Burheen, and the Marauders are up by 12.
Was glad to see Burheen get that one. He's been scrapping for some offensive rebounds all night.
And another steal and a foul will send Keith Rupert to the foul line as Mount Vernon has come on explosively here in these last sequence with a couple of steals.
The Frankton Eagles, especially for a team that is as experienced as they are, really seem a little unnerved at this moment. We knew coming in, both of these teams very experienced. Right now, Mount Vernon, 3 seniors, 6 juniors on their roster, and the Frankton Eagles, 2 seniors and 9 juniors. So, you know, a lot of guys that have played a lot of varsity basketball over the years, and right now it looks like Mount Vernon's just kind of gotten under the Frankton Eagles.
A 21-point swing, and one more to add on to that, as Keith Rupert has 7 in this quarter, 13 in the game, and the Marauders lead 62-48. 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Bates gets over to Detling, and Frankton will work it around in the hands of John Hatzel. Now is a 3-point try up from the top of the key. No good for Caden Key, and the rebound comes down to Mount Vernon. Gentry lobs it up court to Brandon Bell. Out for a 3-point shot from the right side for Jake Morris. His second triple of the game, and it's a 17-point lead.
Jake Morris just about doubled his scoring average on the season.
Down low it comes. Detling. And works his way through a double team and draws a foul. And things will slow down and actually work out positively on the exchange for Frankton, as the foul is on Keith Rupert. That's his second.
Rupert with the 7 points in this third quarter. Just can't talk enough about what a tremendous job he's done coming off the bench. It was Tyler Bostic started the second half, picked up his 4th foul maybe a minute and a half in, and Rupert has come in and just done a great job piloting the ship.
Brandon Bell just picked up his 3rd on that inbound, and it's going to send Key to the stripe. First free throw is up and good. So Caden Key now 4 of 6 from the foul line of the night for Frankton. He's got 17 points. Another one coming. And that will rattle around and drop as well. 65-50. Mount Vernon lead of 15 points as we head to the waning moments of the third quarter. Good ball movement in backcourt, and bringing it across the timeline will be Gentry. Double team, and he clears the pass away, and it's up top to Bell, and to the left corner now to Rupert. Back up top to Maters. To Rupert once more. He'll try a 3. It's off the mark. Rebound scooped up by Landon Waynes. Up court it comes, and a whistle and a travel. John Hatzel.
Yeah,
with
just
the extra step.
Getting a little bit, going a little too fast, and I think that may be a little bit hearing some footsteps from the Mount Vernon defenders. Marauders have blocked a couple of shots here in the game tonight so far. I think Hatzel might have been trying to rush himself just a little bit.
Good pressure by Morris caused it. He'll bring it across the timeline. Gets it over to Rupert. Jumper in the paint. Not going to drop this time. Rebound comes down to Detling. 50 seconds. As Key has it for Frankton at the semicircle. Tries to work through a double team in the paint, and is fouled as he takes a spill. So that'll be the 6th team foul on Mount Vernon. So once again, Frankton will be in the bonus the entirety of the next quarter, the 4th coming up. But free throws now for Cade Key.
Really can't say enough, though, about the defensive effort that Mount Vernon has had here in this third quarter. You've got a team in Frankton that can score as quickly as they can. You've got 45 points in the first half to just see how effective their offense can be. And in this third quarter, now we're under a minute left, and they've got 7 points total.
Caden Key with 20 as he hits both. Back the other way from Mount Vernon. Brandon Bell on the left side. 35 seconds as he's double teamed and stepped out of bounds. That was good pressure over there by the double team effort of Ethan Bates and Rylan Detling.
Yeah, a little bit of a unforced error there on Bell. He was getting pressure, but was able to handle it and just spun a little bit too wildly.
Bates for Frankton, and good movement from Detling over to Caden Key as he knocks down the shot. He's got 22 on the night, and the Frankton run has cut this lead down to 11. It was 17 just a few moments ago.
Certainly can't fall asleep on this lead if you're Mount Vernon, but Frankton, they've turned up the pressure defensively. They're going full court, really forcing the Marauders to work. Marauders really just working to get the ball into the half court at this point.
Bates with his second foul. 10.2 on the clock. Mount Vernon will take it in backcourt. Here's Keith Rupert, and coming out with a quick foul in backcourt is Bates, and now he's got 3.
Yeah, I don't like that foul from Bates. Nothing that you're going to accomplish there. If you play good defense, you're forcing Rupert to go backwards away from the basket with 6 seconds left.
2-1. The shot from out long range is partially deflected, and a fight for the rebound underneath goes for naught. Mount Vernon jumped out to a 17-point lead in this third quarter. A little bit of life for Frankton as they've cut it down to 11 as we head to the fourth quarter. Coming up, your score on the NineStar Films scoreboard. Mount Vernon 65, Frankton 54. We're back in a moment. You're watching high school basketball from NineStar Films.
The pressure is mounting on ISIS, and it is time to finish him.
Everything we do or fail to do will have effects.
We're seeing enemy movement for sure. Where are we at with the strike request?
We're good. At the end of the day, what military service is all about is being a part of something that's greater than yourself.
Chain of Command. New episodes, Mondays at 9 on National Geographic.
Well, that's a third quarter for the books for the Mount Vernon Marauders as they outscored Frankton 24-9 to take a lead of 11 points at 65-54. We are 8 minutes away. As you look outside the doors here at the gym, you see the new jersey of the All-Star row for Michael Ertl, who was an Indiana All-Star last year, joining Daniel Turner and Brian Gilpin. As back inside, we get ready for the fourth quarter, and Frankton, Mike, is going to have to settle things down a little bit after a fast-paced game has kind of gotten away from him.
Right, but what has gotten them back into it after going down by 17 points is turning that pressure up defensively. See how Mount Vernon responds to it coming out of the quarter.
3-point try from the right side won't go for Brandon Bell. The rebound comes down to Frankton, and they'll have a chance to cut this lead down to single digits. The 3-pointer won't go from the left side for Landon Waynes, though, and Mount Vernon comes up with it. Rebound underneath by Cade Gentry. Gentry feeds it up court to Jake Morris. Back to Gentry and over to the right side now to Keith Rupert. Into the paint, he pulls up, kicks it back out on the arc to Bell. They'll continue to work it around as Frankton's defense is kind of spreading the offense out for Mount Vernon. They'll work back in the hands of Gentry, top of the key. Here's Rupert, cuts into the paint, draws a triple team. Out it comes, 3-point try for Bell. It's deflected. Getting a hand on it there was Waynes, and Frankton comes up with it. Back in front court, 3-point try is in the air, and it's straight through for John Hatzel. Second basket of the night. Both of them are threes, and Frankton's back within 8. Back the other way, a lob to Gentry in the left corner. Gives it back to Morris. Morris bobbles the handle in the paint, but controls long enough to clear it away to the teammates. And Mount Vernon will reset the offense. There's Morris, top of the key, being watched by Detling. Now in the hands of Bell, and Bell to the right side. Morris goes baseline. Hooks it around the defenders to David Kilburn-Smith. Out to Keith Rupert for the 3-point try that rattles around and drops home. Rupert with 16.
Yeah, you get that shooter's roll at home. That's what you needed in a big basket for Mount Vernon.
Underneath, a battle as Ryan Detling tries to get position. Double teamed underneath. And a hooking foul is going to be called on the Marauders. And that will put Frankton into the bonus the rest of the way.
But what we've really seen with this Frankton pressure defense really has gotten Mount Vernon out of sorts. It'll be interesting. Damari Gatewood for the Marauders has been out for a good 3 minutes of game action, it feels like, as he was out to start the fourth quarter here and was out a little bit at the end of the third quarter. See if that can help settle this Marauders squad down a little bit.
Balance on Cade Gentry. That is his third, and as we mentioned, the team's 7th. Rylan Detling with another chance to get into double figures from the line. Puts up a second free throw and gets it to go.
Coach Doherty's been juggling foul trouble all night and has done a pretty good job of trying to get guys in and out, just keep them from picking up the fouls that would keep them on the bench indefinitely. But it will be interesting to also see when Tyler Bostic comes back into the game.
Good pass from Rupert to Maders underneath, and he gets it to go, sends his defender flying. Rupert now with 17 points on the night, 70-58.
Really nice job by Maders there to box, take the contact and still go up strong.
And Frankton coming back quickly with an explosive basket and a quick timeout. 5:55 to play in the fourth quarter. It's now a 9-point game as they kick it out.
Yeah, just a very good offensive possession. Just looked like coming out of a slingshot, going down the line or down the lane, gets past the free throw line and really throws a no-look pass back to Key at the three-point line.
So Key up to 24 points with that basket. And Frankton starting to find their sea legs in this fast-paced contest here. 2 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Glad you joined us on NineStar Connect. Brent Robson, 10th year at Frankton, the athletic director and the boys basketball head coach. We talked about their success.
As the Marauders had stretched the lead out from about 5 points in the middle of the third quarter out to that 17-point lead, it looked for a little bit like Frankton kept trying to kind of get it all back at once. They've gotten much better at just taking the points that are available to them.
Brandon Waynes comes up with a rebound, and it's fouled from behind by Jake Morris on the fast break.
Yeah, a little bit of a cheap foul there by Morris as Wines was going down the line. And there was a defender back there, but I wasn't giving good odds on the defender stopping Waynes from scoring there, so probably a decent foul to give.
First free throw up and good. And another one coming, as that'll make Landon Waynes now 2 of 4 from the foul stripe tonight. 13 points on the evening.
But he had, I would say, 10 of the first 17 points for the Frankton Eagles. So to go from 10 and now be at 14, that's shows how dramatically he's slowed down.
Yeah, it's cooled off considerably after that quick first quarter as the underneath the shot is partially deflected. K. Gentry can't complete the shot, but back the other way. Mater steals it back from Mount Vernon. He's quickly moving into front court. Almost had a takeaway, but out it comes to Gentry. Goes baseline. Two-hand pass up to the top of the key. Jake Morris drives, loses it on his way to the basket, and Frankton's got it. Well defended by Waynes and company.
Coach Doherty may want to call another timeout and just remind his team they are up by 8 points in this game. They are playing offense kind of scattershot, like they are trying to desperately make up points.
Across the timeline, Brayton Kane over to Waynes. And to the left side, McGuire. Back up top, three-point try is off the mark. A rebound fought for underneath, and Frankton comes up with it again. So after Waynes miss, it comes right back to him to start the second straight possession for Frankton. Kane up top now to John Hatzel. They'll weave it around and get it back to Kane. To the right side. Double team kicked out to Waynes. And on the dribble now, Hatzel. Mount Vernon defense staying pretty close here. 4.5 minutes to play in this fourth quarter and an 8-point contest.
The more long possessions that Frankton has to play here, that Mount Vernon's going to consider that a win. If they can finish this off with stop, so much the better.
There's McGuire getting it back out to Kane. Long possession this time. Now driving baseline as Key puts it off the glass and scores. Patience pays off for Frankton as Key now at 26.
Yeah, a good patient approach there results in points for Frankton.
And Mount Vernon bobbles the handle, but Jake Morris comes up with it, fires, can't get it to go. Fight for the rebound between two Frankton players. Hatzel comes up with it, and they're back in front court now, trailing just by 6.
Yeah, really didn't like that shot from Morris. I almost never like a guy picking the ball up off a scramble and then immediately shooting. It's just hard to get yourself into shooting position with that.
McGuire back to the basket for Frankton. Gets it up top to Hatzel, hand off to Waynes. He's going to try a quick three, and that's off the mark. And the rebound is picked up by Peyton Maters, who is fouled from behind by Travis McGuire.
Not a bad foul by McGuire there. Generally, I don't like those fouls when you're 90 feet from the opponent's basket, but one this late in the game, only having 4 fouls, it's probably not bad to get yourself in a position where you don't really want to have a foul to give necessarily as you get late into a game if you're having to make up points.
Well, the Marauders will take it the length of the floor. Damari Gatewood in backcourt gives it to K. Gentry. Back to Gatewood, and across the stripe he comes. Gatewood moves quickly. Hits it off his knee, but picks it up and gets it back out. And open for three. Keith Rupert will fire. Catch and shoot from the left side. Keith Rupert with his third three-pointer of the night. He's got 19 points on the evening. And the Marauders take the lead back up to 9 and timeout on the floor.
That's the second time that I feel like he's stopped a little bit of the momentum surge from Frankton. Frankton not really able to take advantage. Had gotten it from 8 to 6, and it had felt like it had been there for a while. But that three-pointer, just a huge basket from Rupert. Just a great night tonight.
Very clutch to be able to catch and fire from that left corner, as he's done a couple of times, we mentioned. Taking a look at the Mount Vernon Pep Band. Enjoying the show so far tonight. It's been a game of ups and downs for both of these squads. A 9-point lead right now. Keith Rupert, as we mentioned, now leading with 19 points for Mount Vernon. Frankton will take it the length of the floor out of the timeout. Travis McGuire gives to Brayton Kane. Kane across the timeline. Bounce pass to the right side as he'll set things up with the ball in the hands of Caden Key. Key gives to McGuire, and we have a reach-in foul away from the ball, it looks like.
Yeah, and just a tough call there. That's going to go against Burheen. Grabbed Detling as Detling was trying to go past him.
So Burheen picks up his third, team foul number 9. And to the line is Detling with 10 points so far.
And again, the things that would make Travis Doherty pull his hair out if he had any is the committing a foul away from the ball, letting your opponent score some points with the clock stopped.
When you're a coach, it's just easier to not have hair.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Second free throw opportunity for Detling is no good. He is 2 of 4 from the stripe in the fourth quarter. The Mount Vernon lead is 8. Just under 3 minutes to play in the fourth. And in backcourt, full court pressure defense broken by Mount Vernon. Maters gets it over to Gatewood in the corner for Rupert for 3, and he knocks it down again.
My
huge
goodness,
basket.
is he feeling it tonight.
Third triple of this fourth quarter for Keith Rupert. He's got 22, and the lead is back up to double figures for Mount Vernon. On the right side, Key guarded by Gatewood. They'll work it over to Kane. He wants to answer from the other side. Can't get the 3 to go. Rebound takes a Mount Vernon bounce. Ahead comes the pass to Gatewood. Ahead the pass to K. Gentry. And he earns himself a trip to the foul line.
Good patient approach there by Gentry. If he had tried to go up with it when he first caught that ball, he likely would have been a little too far under the basket and would not have had a chance. Instead, he shot fakes, gets Detling up in the air, and then is able to use Detling's contact to at least get himself to the free throw line.
First free throw is good for K. Gentry, now with 12 points. The foul on Detling is his third. That's team foul number 6 on Frankton. So free throws the rest of the way for both squads. A 12-point lead will stay there as Gentry now 4 of 6 from the stripe, and quickly in the front court, Caden Key's got it. Reverse layup won't go. A bit of a wild shot, and the rebound comes down to K. Gentry. Mount Vernon's got it again. Here's Rupert dribbling in backcourt. Bounce pass into front court to Tamari Gatewood. Draws a double team, has it taken away. Kane comes up with it, throws it away, right back to Mount Vernon. Rupert picks it up. Back to the left corner, and a whistle, and timeout will be taken to save the possession. A very ragged one for Travis Doherty.
Again, Coach Doherty has to tell his team, you are up by 12 points. You know, you don't have to be scrambling. Don't get into this scramble drill. Want to point out Max Burheen has just laid out some Frankton defenders on the screen, has helped his guards a couple of times. Brayton Kane should be getting hazard pay for the night he's had tonight, as he has had just some brutal scrapes and tumbles.
Three-point shots flying for Mount Vernon tonight. Keith Rupert doing the job in this fourth quarter. He's got 3 of them. As a team, Mount Vernon has now knocked down, by my count, 12 three-pointers in this contest. It's been quite a show from outside, and it's the reason Mount Vernon has built up a 12-point lead over the defending 2A state champions.
Quite a three-point show for Mount Vernon. They've all been good shots for the most part, well within the flow of the offense. A lot of times when you have a team that is, again, like I said, not bashful about taking those threes, there's a lot of off-balance a lot of times you're seeing a guy kind of try to create his own look for the three. These have, by and large, been off of drive into the lane and then drawing defenders. So they've been good open looks where the player is catching the ball and being in a position to shoot right away.
Gentry with the inbound. Kane comes out and tries to steal, but Rupert maintains control. In the front court come the Marauders now. Gatewood draws the double team. You'll see a more pressuristic defense here from Frankton. They try to climb back into this contest here in the late stages. Bell, whistle, and he is wrapped up and fouled in that left corner.
And a nice job of playing keep away there by the Marauders. They're going to continue to do that. Now they are finally in the bonus. Frankton's going to have to really look for turnovers and foul right away and see if they can just create some extra possessions here in the last minute 35.
First free throw is good for the sophomore Bell. That's his first trip to the stripe tonight, a 50% shooter on the season. Travis Doherty and company looking to get a nice win, a 2-game win streak put together tonight if they can hold on. Second free throw is good. That would get them back to 8-8 on the season. And they got to feel a little bit of a momentum for the last push before sectional time rolls around. Mount Vernon, of course, a 4A squad against a smaller school, but a very talented Frankton squad tonight. And the ball is loose, and Mount Vernon comes up with a steal. Gatewood with the quick hands, feeds it to Rupert. Across the timeline to Burheen. Out to the left corner, and Mount Vernon will now try to run some clock here and force the foul. Rupert, semicircle. Out it comes to the left side, and triangle again here. Gatewood takes the pass back from Gentry. A minute 10, a knock away and a steal. Frankton comes up with it. In for the easy layup is Caden Key, now with 28 on the night. But still a 12-point lead with a minute to play for the Marauders. Across the timeline comes Rupert. Down to that left corner, they'll run it, and Frankton will be forced to foul. So Maters will go to the stripe with 52.7 on the clock. And if Frankton can get any more three-point shooting tonight, this would be the time to do it.
Of all the guys that you want to send to the free throw line on this Mount Vernon squad, Mater's not really one of them. He's 23 of 28 on the season coming in.
2 of 2 so far in the night. Now 3 of 3 as he hits the first one here. A baker's dozen for Peyton Maters. And now 14 points on the night. On the evening, just 4 3-point shots for Frankton as a team. Keith Rupert has 4 by himself for Mount Vernon. 46 seconds on the clock. They'll work it out. Kane's going to try a long one. It hits the glass, and a Mount Vernon rebound. Maters will dribble it in backcourt, 40 seconds. Triple teamed, and eventually the reach-in foul committed by Detling. That'll be his 4th.
Yeah, never say die by this Frankton Eagles squad, but at this point, you're going up against it. I imagine, especially if Maters makes these 2 free throws, that'll pretty much be it for the Eagles.
And Maters back to the line as we just left him. Now 5 of 5 from the foul line.
And again, the whole second half, it's been a defensive clinic. In addition to the 3-point shooting from this Mount Vernon squad, you've got a team in Frankton. We talked about how good they are offensively. We're at 36 seconds left in the second half, and they've scored 22 points in the whole half.
It's been an amazing defensive effort from this Mount Vernon squad. They lead it by 16 and on the way to ending Frankton's 7-game win streak. As the ball goes out of bounds, it'll stay with the Frankton Eagles. Last touch by Mount Vernon. So Frankton season an 8-game win streak to start things off. Then 2 losses in the middle of the season to Westfield and to our old friends Pendleton Heights, I should say, as Gatewood comes up with a steal, drives, and gets fouled by John Hatzel. After those 2 losses, they fired off 7 straight wins, did Frankton, including over Hamilton. Hamilton Heights will be their next chance to get a win, their next game February 6th. Gatewood at the line. Puts up the first one, spins off, no good. Next up for Mount Vernon is a Saturday afternoon contest at Noblesville. And we'll have their game here coming up in a couple of weeks against New Palestine here on NineStar Films. 1 out of 2 for Gatewood. He's got 12, and the clock continues to run out on this one. 16-point game. A super long three is going to be short for Waynes. Rebound underneath. The putback is blocked in the air. Coming up with a rebound again was John Hatzel, and a whistle underneath.
Well, Mount Vernon has to feel very good about this effort tonight. They're, as you said, trying to get some momentum going into the end of their season, and it'll be a fun rematch when they play New Pal. I believe we had that game last year. They won New Pal trying to get a foul / three-quarter court shot to tie last year at the buzzer.
And tonight the buzzer sounds as they just let it run out. And what a turnaround for the Mount Vernon Marauders. Down by 9 in the second quarter. They put on a clinic, going 24-9 the advantage in the third quarter. And they continued that in the fourth. For the final score, Mount Vernon defeating Frankton 84-67. We'll take a break and we'll come back with the scoring numbers, our player of the game, and more. You're watching high school basketball from NineStar Films.
Rock and roll road trip, baby, coming up.
Welcome to the Top 10 Review. I'm Katie Darrell.
Woo! I'm Eddie Money. Your mother's a big fan of mine.
We were uniquely dedicated to this new rock and roll thing.
Boom, right on the button. Oh! Right here on Access TV. Woo!
And we welcome you back to Mount Vernon High School in Fortville, Indiana, where tonight the Marauders take care of business against the Frankton Eagles 84-67. I'm Chris Lambert alongside Mike Petry, and our post-game show and first order of business is to talk about the player of the game. A lot of great performances for Mount Vernon as they put 4 players in double figures against the defending 2A state champs, Mike. But, of course, one particular performance stands out and stood out from outside the arc.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith Rupert coming off the bench in the second half and really just can't talk enough about what he did, both just piloting the ship, doing a great job defensively, locking down his man, and also doing a great job in scoring and just running the offense. He finishes up with 22 points. He had 16 in the second half.
Yeah, 4 3-pointers in that second half on the way to the 22-point evening. As you talked about it, Mike. It seemed like a lot of those came every time Frankton was starting to put together a mini run. The 3-pointers shut things down in a hurry.
Right. When you were looking at it, it was they had gotten the lead up to about 17, and Frankton really, from that point forward, for about a good 4 or 5 minute stretch of game time, were able to whittle the lead down to 6. It just never got any closer, and a couple of times when it got to 6 or 7 points, it bounced right back up to 9 or 10 because Rupert hit a 3.
Great effort as well for Peyton Maters. He ends up with 16 points for Mount Vernon. Salted things away from the foul line down the stretch. Also in double figures, Cade Gentry with 12 and Damari Gatewood with 12 as well. Balanced scoring and more Marauders getting in the action. Brandon Bell had 2 big threes in the second quarter, a total of 8 on the night. And those were kind of a little swing of things too,
right,
because as we mentioned, Frankton was up by 9 in the second quarter. But things turned around nicely. Mount Vernon was able to cut that deficit down to 4 at halftime. And before you knew it, they were up by as many as 17 in the third quarter. Just a very strong run for this Marauder squad.
Right. I think one of the big stretches was when the lead got to 9, Coach Doherty calls timeout and got everything kind of recentered. And they really, from that point forward, they just locked down defensively and made life miserable for the Frankton Eagles. The Eagles, on the other hand, when Mount Vernon started stretching that lead out to 7 points, 9 points, it just kind of felt like the game got away from them a little bit. We're trying to do a little bit too much. We saw a couple of times trying to make kind of spectacular passes. That resulted in turnovers and really was what allowed Mount Vernon to stretch the lead from 7 to 9 all the way out to 17 for a moment.
Well, for Frankton's troubles tonight, you can't pin them on Caden Key. He had an outstanding game, as you would expect, averaging 20. Came in to lead the squad with 28 points. Only 2 other players in double figures. They are the ones you might have expected. Landon Waynes and Rylan Detling held to 13 and 11 each. John Hatzel with 6 and nobody else with more than 2 for the Frankton Eagles, who led by 4 after the first quarter and at halftime, but trailed by 11 after 3 and end up falling 84-67 tonight. For Mount Vernon, they moved to 8-8 on the season. As we mentioned, a nice bit of momentum going into the final handful of games before tournament time.
Weren't they 8-7?
9-7, I should say. Yes, thank you very much, Mike. Under your breath, nobody heard that. Frankton falls to 15-3, their first loss in about a month or so. But for the homestanding crowd, they're quite happy to see it tonight. 84-67, again, your final score there on the Mount Vernon scoreboard. And Mike, you're looking forward to getting back in this chair next week for more great basketball on NineStar.
Yeah, another HHC team. Really excited to see heading out all the way out to Newcastle, but that'll be a great game and a great environment. Whenever you get a chance to see and be part of games in the Newcastle Coliseum, you have to take advantage. Absolutely. So make sure you're tuned in. We're glad you joined us tonight on NineStar Films. For my partner, Mike Petry, John Painter, Bill McKenna, and the entire crew who you've seen on your screens thus far tonight, I'm Chris Lambert. Thanks for joining us. And once again, your final score, Marauders win 84-67. Until next time, so long, everybody.